Rev up your engines. Well, if you want a good beater car, maybe a 98 Honda Civic is for you. I just bought it for $2,500, brought it here from New York City, but it's only got 122,000 miles. That's really low mileage when you consider how old it is. It's one of these 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engines with an automatic transmission. Basically, these things can run forever. I mean, he doesn't know any history of it, but I can tell it's lived most of its life up north because you can see all the superficial rust. Any damage that's hurting anything, but when it's like this, it probably spent most of its life in New York State. But back in the day, these things were simple. It's still fuel injected, but it is not GDI. Much simpler. It's got a distributor in it, and as you can see, it's pretty new. Someone just replaced it. They do wear out eventually. It's got a new distributor, so that's good. Oh, that's the original compressor. The AC still works, so yeah, there's a plus there. Now, Honda has sold millions of these things because they can last so long. It's Honda's version of the Toyota Corolla, the Civic and the Corolla. This is an older one, so this isn't the one that the kids are always souping up. The problem with buying a late model Civic is a lot of kids buy them, soup them up, and they're ready for the junkyard by the time you buy them used because they've beaten them all up. These were more transportation cars, and with this low mileage of 120 for all those years, there shouldn't be anything that's really worn out. Our computer will tell us that. Now somebody put this crazy FJP edition, and of course, it's got steel wheels. These are just plastic hubcaps. But other than a little rot here, you're going to get rot in the wheel wells. That's just what happens. Well, look under the car. It's still real solid. It's not all rotting away. Down here, you get a little rot. You can cut that off, do it over. But these old ones, since they're not GDI, they're not turbo, they don't have oil dilution problems. I've seen Civics with 550,000 miles, and they're still running okay. So, let's get the old computer out and check this thing out. So, in we go. Do diagnostics. See if it'll auto-detect the VIN. It may or may not. We might have to punch it in. We look around. Hey, look, the dash is still solid, no cracks. It's got a Pioneer stereo added in. The cloth seats, you're much better with cloth seats in an old car, are in good shape. A lot of room in the back. It's a 4-door. As I said, it won't scan it, so I got my phone out here. I took a picture and I'll type it in. This one starts with the 2, so it was made in Canada. Civic, 1998. As you can see, it does a basic topology scan, so here we go. Oh, this is a 4-speed automatic. They're decent transmissions. Like I say, the AC still works on this. A little loud. The fan motor's starting to go out. If you don't like the noise, you can change the fan motor. Our windows, they still all go up and down. And oh, car's got a real emergency brake like I like. None of that electronic crap. Hasn't found anything out yet, but it's real slow. Look how long it's taking to go through because it is an old car. It's a 98. So good, it's 35% done. No code yet. Well, what do you know? Went through everything and there's no codes. Amazing on something that's almost 30 years old. So let's look at live data. I say, it's an old car. Slow. Computers are awful slow in those days. But, hey, it's going. It'll probably take a while to come. But it came up pretty fast. Black's good, red's bad. Let's see what kind of shape this thing is in. With all this mileage and how old it is. Short-term fuel trim, 1.09, 1.05. That's not much. Good voltage. Alternator's working at 61%, because it doesn't have to. It's just idling. Fuel injector millisecond firing's good. Spark advance is good. Pretty amazed. Automatic transmission data. We'll look at the live data for the transmission. Oh, good, black, good. It's in good shape, too, so let's take it for a road test. Check it out. Even the power door locks still work. It's amazing. Like I say, it doesn't have much mileage for its age. It's only 123,000 miles. Doesn't shake when it's idling. No backup camera, of course. Extremely smooth idle for this old car. I mean, power steering still works. Now, we got this big lump here, so I'm going slow. It's a low car. We don't want to knock anything off. It still looks to me like it's got the original struts on it. Now, on these horrible roads here, we'll see what happens. Not bad. It actually rides better than my wife's Matrix. The Matrix is only 18 years old, and this is 38 years old, but still, hey, it rides better. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. These are really good transportation cars. Get out to the L corner, take it for a spin. Now, it's not a race car by any stretch of the imagination. We all know that. Got clear all right. Here we go. We'll floor it. Good engine. Look how smooth it shifted gears. You only paid $2,500 for this thing and it runs like a clock. I hear a little wind whistle, but I mean, hey. Brakes have a little judder. It needs front rotors. You hit the brakes hard, I can feel a little judder, but hey, it's old. It still stops it okay. But if you wanted it perfect, you change the brake rotors and pads because they're somewhat warped. They just have a little shake to them. The transmission still shifts good. A nice loud turn signal, so old people can hear it. And look, it even has horn buttons and cruise control on. No radio controls on the steering wheel, but it's got a few buttons on it. It's still a fun, zippy little car to drive around in. An amazing car to run around as an everyday work car. Now, generally, you're going to be leery on a car like this that's pushing 30 years old and only has got like 130,000 miles on it. But this is a New York City car. People in New York City don't put that many miles in their cars, lots of them. I see many cars in New York City that don't have that many miles every year because they don't drive long distances. New York City is a relatively small place, geographic. A lot of people crammed in a small space. It's not like you're driving from Dallas to San Antonio to Houston all the time, right? You got a smaller distance to drive, and it's totally believable that's the real mileage. By how the engine runs and the transmission shifts, I can tell that's the real mileage. If it would have had 400,000 or 500,000 and somebody would have reset the speedometer or put a dash from a used car in it, it wouldn't be shifting and running like this because it still shifts and runs perfectly. Now, it's in pretty good shape except for the two rotten spots here, which you could Bondo off or cut the metal out, and here. It's not outrageous. The rest of the car's actually in really good shape. Still have a lot of tread on them. So if you were looking for a good commuting work car, you would not turn this baby down. Now, most places it's not that easy to find a car this old that's only got 130,000 miles, and that's nothing for a Honda engine and transmission, especially these older ones that don't have gasoline direct injection. They don't have turbochargers. They can basically run forever, and this one still runs like a clock. So now you know a little bit more about these old Civics and why they can be a great knock-around car or a first car for your teenager learning how to drive, because you know, guess what? They're probably going to only smash it up anyways. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, people are voting more and more with their money to buy hybrid cars, but realize hybrid cars also have a downside. The complexity of using the electric motor to drive it, but the gasoline engine ultimately runs the thing and runs the generator that creates electricity, has problems that a normal car doesn't have. Now, hybrid engines start and stop all the time, can often lower the temperature of an engine that it operates on. And if you don't know, gasoline engines are made to operate at higher temperatures. They're more efficient. If they don't get hot enough, they're inefficient. And you can get water buildup and fuel dilution because the engine's too cold, and some of the fuel gets by the piston rings when they're colder and dilutes the oil, and of course even further causes more wear and tear on the engine. Going between running the electric motor to drive it by itself with the engine turned off, and then the electric runs lower on battery power, or you need more acceleration, then it turns on the regular engine. All the starting and stopping is not good for any particular engine. Back a few years ago, I saw a lot of Toyota Priuses where the head gaskets would blow. They do it 150,000 miles. You might think, well, that's okay. Well, no, it's not, because there's Toyotas that'll go 400,000 or 500,000 miles, and the engines are still never touched, and everything works fine. But with the hybrid version of their engines, no, they did have problems with the head gaskets blowing, and a lot of it's because of the thermal. It's on, it's off, it's on and off. Engines aren't made to be turned on and off all the time. And since, of course, the hybrid have gasoline engines that don't run all the time, regular cars run all the time, they're hot, they evaporate the water, and that doesn't do damage to the engine. Here's the thing, you might not understand that when you burn gasoline in Earth's atmosphere, one of the big byproducts is water vapor. That's why if you have a regular gasoline car, take it back, go in your car, look at the muffler, you'll see there's a hole drilled in the back. You might say, why is there a hole in the muffler? That's the water drain. If you didn't have that, the water would rot out your muffler, so there's always a little bit of water coming out. That's just how they're designed. They have to be made that way, and if they don't have that hole, the whole exhaust system would fill up with water and rot. Now, once it gets to operating temperature, all the water vapor just evaporates because it's hot. But in a hybrid engine, it often doesn't run as hot, and they will get a buildup of water, and water is death to an engine. With hybrid vehicles, numero uno is you gotta get a high quality made one. There's no way I would buy an Italian hybrid. Hey, their quality's garbage, right? Toyota really makes the best hybrids. They seem to last the absolute longest, and they don't seem to have that many problems. They've seen the problems. Originally, their generators overheated and melted when they had 160, 80,000 of Priuses, but they fixed that years ago. But take the Fords that use the same kind of hybrid technology. They got problems with theirs. The bearings go out in the transmissions on them. You can hear them humming. Toyotas don't do that because the Toyotas, even though they're the same technology, are built by Toyota, and the Fords are built by Ford, and their quality isn't as good at Ford. It's just the way that it goes. So there's interesting things with hybrids, but they also have their downfalls too. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.